Welcome to the Playfree Podcast. And if you're enjoying this podcast, the best way to help this thing grow and make it better is to support us by rating this podcast 5 stars or purchasing our new Playfree Free Your Mind journal. It's going to be your solution to solving your overthinking. I'm going to link it in our show notes. Now, I have a few clients who understand why they do certain things and avoid others. But that understanding doesn't always show up in the game. These are players who know they should be taking more shots, know that they should be staying calm under pressure and stepping up in big moments as a leader. They've done these things thousands of times before, but it's still not clicking when it counts. These are high-level players with big goals and aspirations. They want to play college basketball. They want to sign big pro contracts. They want to continue to build their side hustles. When I first met these players, it's clear they care deeply about their growth and they understand what's critical to their success, yet they struggle to get the job done. Their motivation gets pulled in many different directions. They get distracted. So in this episode, we're going to dive into focus and motivation, and we'll talk about how to get your brain on board when it's resisting what you know you need to do. The goal of this episode is to help you get unstuck and start executing at a higher level. Here's the thing. Our brains are wired, especially nowadays with society, with social media, for instant gratification, for immediate results. We tend to avoid what's necessary to accomplish long-term goals if it doesn't feel urgent. It's like knowing you need to finish that assignment, but you put it off until the last minute when the pressure's overwhelming. And then suddenly you kick into high gear and everything else fades away and you get it done. So today, I'm going to focus specifically on players that are playing passively, players that are holding themselves back. For some athletes, thinking about the future consequences can spark a little motivation. Let's say that you realize that if you continue to play passive, this means that you might not get recruited, that you'll end up playing in a beer league instead of college or pro basketball. Maybe your coach sees you as unreliable because you're playing passive. And now you're going to get less playing time in the future. In future seasons, you're going to be boxed in as this player that's passive, labeled. Or if you're already a pro, it could mean signing a smaller contract, playing in a lower league, moving further away from your family, playing in, Eastern Europe somewhere, and never getting out of that. Never being able to achieve the levels that you dreamed of, the money that you want to make playing the game at a high level. The list goes on. And for some players, though, that distant future isn't enough to get them moving. And some have dealt with a lot of failure, rejection, and disappointment, which creates an emotional wall. It's not just about doing the thing. It's about having the motivation to climb over that emotional wall so that you can do the thing. When we're overwhelmed, it's easy to forget why we're doing the thing or how good it will feel when we get it done. That's where I come in. I help athletes learn to ease their nervous system, think less about the task, and, when ready, pull the trigger. But I want to acknowledge something. Even if you optimize your environment, even if you're doing the inner work, you have a purpose for why you play the game, a deep purpose, you really looked at it, you'll still lose motivation at times. There's going to be practices and games where you're not at your best. And then there's times where you can realize that maybe it's not even about motivation. Maybe there's a skill gap. Maybe you don't remember the plays, so your coach plays you less and doesn't trust you. Or maybe there's limited opportunity because your team is stacked with imports. You don't get the minutes that you need to show your skills. Or perhaps the goal itself is too ambitious. If you've never scored 30 points in a game, setting your intention to score 30 points every game might be too big of a leap. So we try to work up to that. What you're doing right now is we're starting to identify the things that cause you mental resistance, the things that block you from taking that step, from getting the job done, from executing at a high level. And once we can acknowledge these things that are getting in your way, we can start to create a tailored solution that tackles the feelings that are holding you back. So I wanted to share a breakthrough from one of my clients and how we're moving forward with it. Because she's got all the skill, she's got the opportunity, she's got the support, but she's holding back. She's turning down those shots. She's playing too passively. So here's what we did. First, we identified the solution. One, she needs to shoot more. So she has this specific goal of shooting 6 shots in the first half of her games. This is going to help her find her rhythm and set the tone for a player that can play a full game. Then we reviewed game footage to pinpoint the moments where she could be more assertive and take advantage of the scoring opportunities that she already has. Finally, we put together a game plan for her next few tournaments, saying that she's got to shoot 6 shots in the first half of at least 3 out of the 4 games she plays within a tournament. The one game we're giving her a little bit of wiggle room because, as you know, as a high-level player, sometimes there's things outside of your control. Pick up some tough fouls, or if coach gets upset and subs you out of the game, you may not be able to get those 6 shots. So in summary, she's identified a specific action, set a timeline, knows exactly what to look for during the games based on the footage we watched. But here's the key. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong or other people's expectations, we kept her attention on what she needed to do. We added accountability to make it urgent. If she didn't take her shots in 3 out of those 4 games, she would be removed from our program. No more working with me, and her family wouldn't get a refund. We'd both move on. The thought of disappointing her family and losing that support has pushed her to step up and execute. So to unlock your motivation and to get things done, to follow through, I want you to focus on these 4 key factors. 1, can we make it urgent? The guarantee made her goal urgent by adding extrinsic pressure that pushed her to break through her slump. As a quick side note, I appreciate you listening to the podcast. If you're finding it helpful, please rate us at 5 stars, share it on Instagram, or buy our new journal on Amazon. Thanks for listening and keep playing free. 2, can we keep it fresh? The same guarantee might get stale in a few weeks, so we'll tweak it. Maybe take something away that's valuable, like donating $300 to charity, if $300 is a lot of money to her. Or volunteering for a week at a soup kitchen. We'll take time away from her ability to work out and work on her game because she loves playing the game, loves working out. She's a gym rat. We can also add small, meaningful rewards each game or tournament, scaling them up strategically. So there's a lot of different ways that you could go about doing this, but the thing is you want to start small. If you say, hey, I'm going to play well in this tournament, and after I play well in this tournament, I'm going to give myself a $20,000 car after one tournament. What happens for the next tournament? Then it just kind of gets, man, I don't know if I can sustain this. So we want to just build it up very slow. And then 3, is it too challenging? If your goal is too big, like scoring 30 points, when you've never done that before, maybe it's better to aim just outside of your comfort zone and to do something that's challenging but attainable with focus. 4, can we make this process personal? Even if your coach is restrictive, focus on small, controllable moments. Be a decisive shot taker. Sprint your cuts for separation. Reframe scoring as being in the right spot at the right time, which will naturally lead to more scoring opportunity. And when you check off a few of these factors, you're going to find yourself being more stimulated and better able to focus on the task and execute. Lastly, remember, action precedes motivation. Start with small actions, even if you don't feel like it. Watch how it changes your mindset. Maybe you don't feel like working out, but you do a light warm-up and see if that gets you going. Or maybe you're not feeling confident before a game. Try giving 25 high fives during the warm-up and see how you feel after. Talk soon and take care.